just annoyed me that people got so into the Beatles, 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 Beatles. It's not that I don't like talking about them. I'd never stop talking about them. It's Beatles, there's Beatles, I have Beatles, 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 Beatles. In the end, it's like, oh, sod off with the Beatles, you know.
You think the Beatles will get together again then?
Well, I couldn't tell, you know, if they do or not. I'll certainly try my best to do something with them again, you know. I mean, it's only a matter of accepting that that situation is a compromise. In a way, it's a compromise. And it's a sacrifice, you know, because we all have to sacrifice a little in order to gain something really big. And there is a big gain by recording together, I think, musically and financially and also spiritually and stuff. And lately with Paul, everything that they've thought or said has come out, you know, to the public. It's been printed, it's been there for everybody to read or to comment about or to join in on. You know, we've all leading our own lives. It's been 8 years, really. And I don't think an ad in the paper is going to do the trick. We have to want it personally ourselves. And not just to make $50 million or whatever the figure may be. We must do it because we want to be together as people first, and secondly, to be together for the music, and then everything else would fall into place. But at the moment, everybody is doing their own lives, and it feels to me a bit like saying, please go back to school. You know, that was like our apprenticeship.
Yeah. There seems to be little in the way to...
Well, you know, the simplest way of saying is like when you grow up in a family and everybody grows up and they'll leave home and the brothers and sisters all go and get married and lead their own lives, you know, and it's like really asking them to all go back and live with their mum and dad again. So, you know, that's the simplest thing. You know, for us as individuals, we all had our own lives to lead, and, you know, we have a lot of experiences other than being four people stuck in the same hotel room together that we had to live out.
Do you miss any of that? Do you miss any of the old days, or?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. You know, I mean, they're all there in memory, but, you know, don't look back. I think past has gone, now canst not that recall, and future is not, may not be at all, but present is, you see. That's the only thing that exists, is the present, and it's, there's enough happening right now for me to, you know, to be enjoying myself. You know, the Beatles is a thing of the past, and that's all. You know, it's like, you know, it's pointless us talking about the Second World War, although they tend to talk about it forever, you know, like they miss it. I think it's better to be here now and live in the present, and that's the only reluctance I have about the Beatles. But generally, it was a happy time, and we had fun, but it's over, you know.
Let's talk about Live Aid, George, but the most magnificent thing. Were you approached to play at that at any time?
Well, I was in America at the time. I think I'd been in Australia, and I was coming back through America, and then I got off the plane in London Airport, and the press said to me, are you going to do this concert? And I didn't even know about it. But I think the day before the concert, I was asked if I wanted to go and sing Let It Be with Paul. But, you know, I didn't know anything about it, and it seemed that they had everybody and their grannies on it anyway. It didn't seem like much difference whether I'd been on it or not. But I don't know, if I'd have known more about it and had more time to be informed of it, then, you know, maybe I would have done it. But I think it did all right without me.
Because there was this cockeyed story that yourself, Paul and Ringo were going to do something with Julian, which seems to me just totally out of order.
That comes up all the time. I mean, they keep inventing that every 6 months as one of those stories.
And what do you think about that?
Well, it's just rumours. I don't think we'll play together. The Beatles certainly can't play again. And I think it's best left as it is, you know.
Of course, you know that the rumors were there that, you know, Paul was going to be there, and then the three of you were going to be there, and, you know, do you know how that rumor started or why he even wasn't there? Was it discussed at all?
I don't know. Those things just get started all the time. Like, for instance, who was it? Just somebody here yesterday told me that they had a call from People magazine saying they hear I'm in the Betty Ford clinic. Well, I mean, I don't know where these things get started or how they get started, but they do. There's always some dumb story going around, and, you know, the best thing is just to not believe anything.
It's too late now, obviously, for the band to get back together at all, but do you regret that you didn't do it while you still had the chance?
You mean rave?
No,
Get back together.
And play again.
Not really. I think it was just good as it was, you know. Whatever, I don't know what they're expecting to hear, but we could never deliver that, you know? Can't deliver the goods. And on one hand, you've been so put in a little box and looked at through microscopes, and till the point where you could be the most paranoid people in the world, afraid to go anywhere and to play guitars with other people, and suddenly you have to come be the Beatles. We can't be the Beatles.
Can't you just, instead of being the Beatles, be three guys who used to be in a band playing together for the first time?
It's hard. Even being one of them, you know, is difficult because people expect it. You know, they've got this big concept of what it was, and they expect you to, like, come out like some magic person, and you just can't live up to that. I think Paul has mentioned it himself. You know, you can't live up to the Beatles. The Beatles was such a big phenomena that you can't match that, really. But I think you can musically, you can match it. I mean, because when I listen to some of the Beatles stuff, it's nostalgic and I enjoy it, and a lot of the stuff I thought was really good. But there's a lot of rubbish in that. So, I mean, there's nothing personal now. Paul and I are good friends again, and we get on well. The day is yet to come when we, you know, either write a tune together or make a recording together. But I mean, it's not out of the... You know, the Beatles, we had great fun, and then we had great pain and misery together, and we had a lot of problems. As everybody knows, we went up and down and round and round. And at this stage of my life, I can look back on it and really remember the good things about it. We've all gone through problems with businesses and different things, but they've all slowly been getting solved, and we're right on the point now, I think, the best time we've ever been at in order to get all our past problems solved. Plus the fact that we've spent a lot of time with meetings with Paul, having dinner and just being friends, because having not spent a lot of time with him, you have to get to re-know each other again. And we were just in the process of doing that and enjoying each other's company, and with Ringo, having dinner, just having a laugh, and for some strange reason he decided to superimpose some old business thing that was getting solved anyway onto the Hall of Fame. And it was a shame he didn't come, really.
It's unfortunate Paul's not here because he was the one who had the speech in his pocket. Why didn't they play Octopus's Garvey? Anyway, we all know why John can't be here, and I'm sure he would be, and it's hard really to stand here supposedly representing the Beatles. It's what's left, I'm afraid. But we all loved him so much, and we all love Paul very much.
We always had a deal together that the Beatles were us four. If any one of that four wasn't in the band, the Beatles wouldn't exist. And it can't really exist just with the three of us, but at the same time, we could all be on a stage together, I suppose, like we could have done at the Hall of Fame if Paul had been there.
There were lots in the papers about, over here, about Paul McCartney not being there, that he was expected to be there.
That's right. Well, so I hear, yeah. Paul wasn't there, but nevertheless, we did have a nice evening.
Yeah. Now, the Beatles have been, as it were, Lennon and McCartney, and then George and Ringo bringing up the rear a bit, haven't they? Oh, they were that way.
Yeah, it's sort of. Yeah, we were the economy class Beatles.
Now, when
some people thought so anyway.
Yeah. But now, Paul, when we had Paul on this show, did you see him? He was on this show, and he invited, at the time, he invited you to get together, stuck his thumb in the air and said, "Okay, George, is there any chance you and he will get together, make a record?"
Possibly. I mean, at this time, I think Paul and I are the closest friends we've been for the last 12 years or so, and right up until Christmas, we were getting on quite well, and we were meeting a lot, having dinner. And of course, it takes a little time to get to know each other again because we spent so much time apart. But I think everything's going very well. I mean, in spite of him not coming to the Hall of Fame, I can understand his reasons. I think it was a bit silly, but nevertheless, I'm not going to let it interfere with my relationship with him.
Are you saddened that Paul McCartney wasn't able to appear?
For him, it's a pity he missed it because he would have had a good time. You know, and it was nice to see people saying, well, after all that we've done, you know, that's all it was, really. Get the lads here, give them a pat on the back and give them the medal. And it's a shame he missed it because he contributed so much to it, but it didn't spoil our night. We still had fun without him.
Have you been able to have any reconciliation with Paul since that particular event?
Oh, he's okay, yeah. He's okay. He just was trying to use that situation for some personal motive that he had, and it just didn't work. But, you know, we're long past all the squabbles now.
He said that he wanted to tackle some of the other old songs, including possibly some of John Lennon's songs, like Beautiful Boy and Imagine. Does that surprise you that he would do that?
Paul?
Yeah.
Maybe because he ran out of good ones of his own.
Well, now we've got that on record.
Well, it's true. All of that, you know, had suggested maybe the chance of me and he writing together something. And, I mean, it's pretty funny, really, because, I mean, I've only been there about 30 years in Paul's life, and it's like now he wants to write with me, but I think it's maybe quite interesting. Yeah, for about 10 years I didn't really...
10 minutes.
I didn't really know Paul, and never really saw much of him through the last 10 or 12 years. But more recently, we've been hanging out and getting to know each other, going for dinner and meeting and having a laugh. But actually, I love Paul. He's my mate, and it doesn't matter what they say in the papers. It's not going to, you know, they're not going to get much mileage out of that one. Someday, maybe we'll write a tune and play together, but it won't be the Beatles. And if people expect us to be the Beatles, they're going to be disappointed. But you may see three old guys called John, Paul and Ringo who someday may sing a song together.